Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. The Roy Moore vote is a week from today, and I love it. They've got this embattled Republican Senate candidate Roy Moore is ahead on one new poll, but tied with his Democrat rival in another recent survey. Now, what's going on right now is the Democrats are cheating in Alabama like you wouldn't believe. Right now, I saw a story that said Al Sharpton's half-brother is registering felons. Probably friends of his, old roommates. You know, they cannot have a loss here. I mean, it's a Senate seat and everybody obviously wants it. But, I mean, you know, from a Democrat or Republican perspective, but I'm saying the Democrats are looking at this as like DEFCON. We have got to win this seat the same way Hillary Clinton had to win the election. This is relitigating the election all over again. A new CBS poll released on Sunday said 71% of Alabama Republicans say that allegations against Roy Moore are false. The survey of likely voters found that Moore, who had been accused of sexual misconduct, leads his Denver Democrat. I don't know what's going on with his Democrat rival, Doug Jones, from 49 to 43%. He's got 49. The other guy's got 43. So it's got a margin of error, but neither one of them has a plurality. And the seat was formerly held by Attorney General Jeff Sessions. Now, the Democrats have a hill to climb. It was Sessions' seat. It's a Republican seat, and probably in a Republican district. And I suspect there are many people who understand what's going on here, and they're saying, nope, let's sneak it in. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to make a prediction that Roy Moore wins. Maybe it's just wishful thinking on my part, but I don't want him. I don't want Doug Jones in there. He was a prosecutor, which means he's got a pretty good understanding of how crime really works, and he may be fooling the Democrats into believing that he's a true Democrat. Most prosecutors, they get it. They see crime and go, nah, you're not going to get away. If he was a defense attorney, maybe different. But everything I've read about him, he's a pretty bad character. But the thing that gets me is this, because I don't, to be honest with you, other than the fact that it's politics and it involves a Senate seat, I don't really care. You know, I don't want leftism to win anywhere. And I certainly don't like it when they orchestrate wins. And that's what they're doing here. They are trying to vilify a man based on information that none of us really know. We're supposed to believe the woman, right? But we also know that the left don't apply that same standard to themselves. When it comes to Franken, oh, no, we're going to protect him. When it comes to, Conyers, well, we got to wait and see all the evidence or whatever else. But the minute somebody on the right has an accusation, well then, whoa, look at here, we gotta, go freak out. I don't know. I want to talk about Rex Tillerson because I'd started having a conversation about him based on a friend of mine having dinner with the president, and he said to me, Kevin, Tillerson's not leaving. They don't have a beef the way the media is saying it. But what I wanted to talk about with Tillerson, he's an interesting guy to me because he ran one of the largest companies in the world, maybe the largest company, ExxonMobil. He's obviously not as wealthy as Donald Trump, but he's, in terms of accomplishments, running a multi-global company like ExxonMobil is not easy to do. And he left that job to take on the job as Secretary of State, which I think he's tasked to do that. The other thing I like about Tillerson, he's very easygoing in the sense of, he can be stern without it looking like he's being stern. And so I think that's a good quality. He's an older gentleman, so he would have a level of respect around the world that Hillary Clinton would. And people didn't respect Hillary Clinton. So you've got a lot of positive things. Now, I don't know what even the little beef is because, President Trump admitted, he goes, yeah, we have our issues. And of course, that means anything. I could say that to every person that I work with. We have our issues, but we work through it. But there's something a little deeper to the issue. That's my guess. Because I know I want Tillerson to be a little more, I don't know, is it aggressive? And I can understand Trump, whose his personality is just, they say bull in the china shop, even though they've proven that the bull in the china shop just walks through the aisles. He doesn't destroy it. But what I liked about Tillerson was when he started dismantling the State Department and saying, we don't need this. We're not going to do it. And what's funny, you get a guy who comes from ExxonMobil, which, by the way, is a huge bureaucracy in and of itself, and they're wasteful, but they also know you can't run like the government. So he's a good blend between government and corporation, and complete free-for-all. Because as a corporate guy, he's like, okay, we got to have some corporate, fiscal responsibility here, but also realize that we're a big organization. Yet, he fired 100 people. Did you guys hear about this? Back in D.C., more than 100 senior Foreign Service officers have left the State Department since President Trump took office, in what appears to be a forced exodus carried out by Secretary of State Tillerson. Among those who have departed with the State Department's Chief of Security, Bill Miller, who left supposedly after Tillerson refused to meet with him. And I don't know. I mean, look, I get it. Security, you got powerful guy traveling around the world. I don't understand all the details of this. I'm not going to pretend to. But they say Miller is one of the most powerful people at the State Department. Yet he was reportedly forced to cite a law requiring him to be allowed to speak to the Secretary of State before Tillerson was willing to meet with him for 5 minutes, leading Miller to resign. Well, good, go. See, the thing about a lot of these bureaucrats, they think, I'm the only one who can do the job. You let me go, what are you going to do? Put somebody else in your place or not replace you? The biggest complaint they have right now, we do not have ambassadors to all these countries. Who cares? There are, I think, 192 countries, give or take, in the world. Do we have to have somebody in all of them this very minute? The answer is no. There are some countries we'll fill that slot if we get to it. Let's be honest. Half of the countries in the world are insignificant. If they want to reach out to us, call the State Department. We'll be gracious to you, but do I have to have somebody in country? How much money does it cost for us to put somebody in a protective compound, give them a house, an expense account, an entire staff, etc., so we can talk about, crop dusting in some, sub-Saharan armpit? And then there are countries where we certainly don't want people. I mean, I think it's great. So Tillerson's letting go of 100 folks. I mean, I don't know how big of a budget that is or whatever, but I think it's great. I think that somebody looking at all this stuff realistically and saying, what do we really need, has been long overdue. We've let these guys just tell us how it's supposed to work, and nobody's questioned them.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.